The 4 basic steps in order for you to start selling your art as a vendor in markets is 1, having your art products ready. 2, making sure that you find the right marketplace. 3, have your prices and your payment methods. And 4, becoming a merchant. Hey guys, I'm Mayamo, and today this video is going to be about how I sell art in my pop-up shops, like Christmas markets, art crawls, summer pop-up shops, and other festivals, even as a beginner artist. First disclaimer, like I said, I am a beginner artist, and this is how I succeeded in selling my artwork in person in these market events. So I'll be sharing the 4 basic steps as to how you can sell your art as well. So the first thing you need to do is actually have your art products or your art ready. As an artist, what is it that you're selling of your art? Is it merchandise that you have handcrafted yourself? Is it art prints? Is it your originals? Make sure you have that ready. For me, that was my artwork. And so initially when I started my art journey, I actually didn't have anything to sell. The easy thing about being a visual artist is that you can make this very simple and just sell art prints or your originals. For myself, I wanted to create something that was more tangible and could be used by everyday people in their daily lives. So I had the idea of creating t-shirts, totes, keychains, all the things I drew up and characters and plants, and I put them on my art products. If you wanted to add variation to your products, that would be ideal. That way there is a variety of things people can pick from. And I won't go into too much detail as to how I made these physical products. Just know that it is possible for you if you have an artwork. If you're on a tight budget, you can print them at your local print shop. You are looking to make stickers, there are websites for that have these services to make your stickers for you after you've drawn them up. I'll leave the link down in the description below as to where I got my stickers printed. If you also wanted to make t-shirts of your art, there's services for that online as well. Personally, the t-shirts that I made actually was made by a friend of mine, and so she had her own sublimation machine and made them herself. I didn't have to go online. But for you, this would be an option if you wanted. So once you finally have your art products, the next step is find the market that your art fits into. This is probably the most difficult part because where could you possibly find a market? And most of the time, you should start looking in your own city. A lot of the time the cities hold, festivals and these events for local artisans, vendors, and they especially do this in the summer. So literally just go on Google, type in art markets and fairs or art vendors, and you will see how many markets are available. You'll see the contacts as to how to get into these markets, and there will be people that you can find out on how to apply to these markets. If you are from a small town and there's barely any markets where you're from, just look into your neighboring bigger cities. For myself, I looked into Toronto, and they have so many markets all the time. You just have to literally search for them and they will come to you. This is the part that's hard because you have to do the research. You have to find out the location of this market. What kind of theme are they going for? Is there even a theme? What are the dates? And all the little details that would work for you. Don't become too overwhelmed because there is going to be a lot of options. Honestly, just choose one. Make sure you message the people who are in charge of the market. And once you're in, it's kind of easier to find other markets after that, because instead of looking, sometimes they might like your stuff so much you will be invited to these markets instead of you looking around for them. As a side note, I want to let you know that being a vendor actually does cost money. There are special times when you don't have to pay to have a spot, but most of the time you do have to pay for these booths. You have to, rent a table if you don't have a table. It all depends on the event, and I won't go into details because I feel like that could be a whole video on its own. But just know that when you're finding a market, you want to consider your budget as well, because it might have already cost you a lot to make your physical art products. Most of the time, you actually have to apply to these markets. You don't just message them and say, okay, yeah, you're in. They want to see your art and your art products that you're gonna sell at their market. So you gotta make sure you have really good photos of your stuff. When you're successful, they'll send you an email, they'll give you a call, they'll give you all of the details and all the things you need in order to prepare for the market. This could include your booth, what other vendors are you going to be beside, what time can you start setting up. Another thing to remember is that sometimes there are no themes, so don't get caught up like my art doesn't fit in this market. Honestly, sometimes there are no themes and your art can fit anywhere. For myself, I have the Plantita series. It fit really well in one of the Christmas markets I did, which is right here, because it was a botanical market. My art was very plant related. It doesn't have to fit. You can just honestly apply and try, and they can decide. And I've done other pop-up shops where my stuff wasn't part of the theme, but I was still able to get in. You can too. The third thing on the list is make sure you price your art right and you have payment methods. This is the most crucial part. Remember, your art has value and people want it. I get it. You have imposter syndrome. I do too. But girl, let me tell you, stop it. Stop it right now. Art is subjective and your art is unique. Your art is unique because you made it, nobody else. And there are 8 billion people in this world that there is always going to be somebody out there who's going to love your art just as much as you do. Honestly, do not devalue your art, because that is the same thing as devaluing yourself. And we do not do that. You better love your art as much as you love yourself. Respectfully. If you still can't see your self-worth, just compare yourself to the other people around you who make similar art to you. Look at their prices and price yours accordingly, because there are a lot of things to consider when you are pricing your art. You need to take into account the amount of hours you put in making the art, producing it, the production costs, how much did it make to print your prints, how much did it take to have the packaging right, how much did it take to print your shirts. You have to consider all these things. And I know it is difficult, so if you still don't know how to price your art, honestly, ask the person who's willing to buy your art. Ask them, like, how much are you willing to buy it for? I did this once and it worked out, and you can just go from there. Okay, now they're ready to give you some cash money. This is an even more important thing. You need to have a method of payment. Cash is perfect for these kinds of events because people usually carry them to these kinds of events. But there is also a huge amount of people who do not carry cash anymore. So you better have another form of payment so you don't miss out on selling your art to the people who really want it. Some alternative payment methods could be e-transfer. E-transfer is a good one, especially if you're starting as a beginner artist. This is super easy. A lot of people are okay with it. The only problem is it might be time consuming because they gotta grab your email and then it has to go to you, etc., etc. A second one is PayPal. PayPal is good. It's pretty safe. However, it is not really beginner friendly because PayPal does take a cut from whatever you put in. They take a cut. I wouldn't have this a beginner one. If you're in the States, Venmo or Cash App is good, but I don't use any of that. What I use is the easiest one probably is the Square, and it has an app as well. And the Square works is you buy the Square module, which basically connects to your phone or your iPad, whatever you want to bring to these markets. And you can basically take credit card, MasterCard, Visa card, American Express, Google Pay, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, tap, insert chip. It's very easy. I will link that down below for you to access if you decide to do the square. Honestly, it's really good. As a beginner artist, it might cost too much, so it's solely up to you if it's in your budget. Number 4 on the list, and the final thing, is becoming a merchant. I get it. This one was hard for me as well. As a beginner artist, I was like, I just want to be an artist and I just want to create. I don't want to have to sell myself. But alas, this is an important part if you want your art to sell at these markets. When you're a vendor, you're selling your art and you are representing yourself. You have to look at it this way. This is the part where you get to talk to people about your art, everything you worked hard on. You know, they're very interested in how did you make it? What inspired you to make it? What do you love about it? And this is the part where you should enjoy it. You're displaying and showcasing all of your hard work. And this is honestly one of the fastest ways for you to build yourself as an artist, especially if you are interested in making local connections. You are sharing your work within your entire community, so just be yourself and let people know what you're all about and the art that you create. I think as an artist, you get stuck in believing or, think that your art is not good enough to have at these pop-up shops, but you are so wrong. As cheesy as it sounds, your art is unique, and it's unique to you because you made it and nobody else made it. This is how you see the world and you're translating it into your art. And honestly, once you get into these markets and you meet people and you just see how they're so into your art, you'll start to see that it cannot be just that one person that likes your art. There's more people. So that's the end of the 4 basic steps. There are definitely pros and cons of having to do these market events versus selling your art online, but I can't cover everything in this video, so that will probably have to be in another separate video. If you do have any questions that I haven't covered in it here, just leave a comment down below. I'll answer it to the best of my abilities and I'll try to help you out as much as I can. And that's all for today. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. If you want to help me out, make sure to like this video, subscribe. That's me, you. Hit the notification bell, and that's it. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.